Okay, everybody, here we are, man. We are back again. This is side two of Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil. Side one was great. I really liked it very much. I liked the music, and I liked their sound. They've got kind of like a definitely a entertaining party flair, young, rebellious kind of sound to them. I'm sure that there are more adjectives that I can throw in there, but you get my drift, man. Overall, they're definitely popular. They definitely had their fan base, and I can understand the appeal by many. And among those people was my girlfriend back in the day, and she explained to me very vividly why she liked these guys and their sound and the whole clique of who she was hanging out with back at the time. They definitely had their cliquey fans, and she was part of that. So from that, I kept an open mind about Motley Crue, even though I wasn't even looking at classic rock or metal or anything of that sort back in the day. But I did overlap with it a little bit, mainly because of her. But anyway, I liked the first side, so I imagine that the second side is just as good. So let's check it out, man. It's nice to have this platform where we don't have to go to battle about what's classic rock and what isn't. Alright, side two, Shout at the Devil. Let's get it. That'll get your blood going at a party. I'm just visualizing my girlfriend at a party right now. hits do you like better, this song or Looks to Kill? Which one do you think is their biggest? Let me know. It's a good track, good tune. Tommy Lee's drumming is excellent. Guitars are awesome as well. They're great musicians. That was a great tune. Dirty and nasty as hell. But that was a really great tune. Great jam.
Streets, here we were young, never looked back. So we took our dreams, ran like hell, lived a youth from the wishing well. We made the bus made a pact,
Okay, man. So that concludes side 2 of Shout at the Devil, Motley Crue. This being their most successful album. I can totally understand and see why. I can understand and see why my girlfriend Dorinda was saying that it's also a really great party album. You put it on at a party and you just do your thing or whatever it is. I totally get all of that. I see that they are definitely talented guys. They've got good musicianship, good sound. This last track was really great, telling an excellent story. There's some really good creativeness in their music, and I like their musicianship as well. Tommy Lee's drumming is on point. The guitar player is great as well. They've got a really good signature sound. It's their signature sound overall, collectively, that makes them either very appealing or not so much. But depending on what side of the fence you're on where it comes to Motley Crue, overall, I think you can't deny that they were very successful with the formula that they were using. And I, for one, personally really like their sound. Their sound is very good. It's got definitely got the metal platform to it. It's got kind of like a youthful, upbeat, rebellious edge to it. So I can understand why the combination is very appealing, not just to men, but also to women. I remember back in the days of Motley Crue with this album and the songs that were hits, that just as many women like Motley Crue as the men did. And maybe it's because of their looks, but I think that it's just their sound more so than anything. And yeah, say what you will about them. I know some people don't like them, and they've got their reasons, I'm sure. But I, for one, think that it definitely, they're talented, and they definitely have something marketable where it comes to achieving success. And they've achieved great success. So there you go, man. Great album overall. I like the whole album. There isn't a single track on this album that I didn't like. And if it was in a sense of, yeah, let's put on Shout at the Devil and listen to it, I wouldn't be skipping a single track. I like them all. The last two tracks I like, actually. I like Danger. It tells a great story. 10 Seconds to Love was nasty as hell. But all the same, it had some great elements in there. I think he was a little bit too vivid, a little TMI there, but at the same time, I really like the musicianship in it. I like the breaks. I like how they, in unison, will scream together or shout together or whatever it is. So they've got some harmony going on. It isn't just a bunch of stupid metalheads just doing their thing. They've got a very good creative element going on here. So I give them props, man. They've got a great sound. Good musicianship. The musicianship between the lead guitarist and Tommy Lee's drumming, I found were the big standouts in a lot of their music. Great guitarist and excellent drummer. Yeah, they're all great musicians. Yeah, Vince Neil is the singer. He is good. I gotta strain to understand him sometimes, but he's got a good sound to his voice, and he definitely is really good at the helm of it all. And the bass player, he had his moments too, but definitely the two big standout instruments were the guitar and the drums in this, for sure. In this whole album, I think. So, this is the end of side 2. I'm cutting this off. This is my point break, and we're going to go into the review now, man. So, let us go into the review. Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. Let me just bring up my Wikipedia song fact info here, man. Go to my link. Shout at the Devil. Shout at the Devil is the second studio album by American heavy metal band Motley Crue, released September 26, 1983. It was the band's breakthrough album, establishing Motley Crue as one of the top-selling heavy metal acts of the 1980s. The singles Looks That Kill and Too Young to Fall in Love were hits for the band. Funny enough, I'm probably going to be the only person thinking this. My favorite song on this whole album, to be honest with you, was 10 Seconds to Love. And then right behind that would be Danger. Of course, Looks to Kill is good and Too Young to Fall in Love is excellent. Maybe it's because I've heard them and I've heard them too often or whatnot, but I really like the last two tracks of this album. Overview. But I like them all. All of the tracks are excellent. I give them all definitely high marks. Overview. Shout at the Devil was Motley Crue's breakthrough success, selling 200,000 copies in its first 2 weeks. The album's title and the band's use of a pentagram caused a great deal of controversy upon its 1983 release, as Christian and conservative groups claimed the band was encouraging their listeners to worship Satan. The pentagram was something Nikki Sixx brought with him from Sister, a very theatrical band he had been a member of, along with future Wasp vocalist Blackie Lawless, in the late 70s, prior to the formation of Motley Crue. Sister were the first LA band to fuse occult symbolism such as the pentagram into a theatrical heavy metal show incorporating blood and facial makeup. Sixx asked Lawless for permission to use some of Sister's occult-related imagery for Shout at the Devil, as at that point Lawless was intent on moving in a different direction. Quote, I said take whatever you want, because at that point I realized that with an image like that, you end up painting yourself in a corner and you can't get out, unquote, said Lawless. Just prior to returning home to LA to begin recording the album, Motley Crue was famously kicked off their support spot on Kiss's Creatures of the Night tour. The bands played only 5 shows together before Gene Simmons demanded they be replaced, citing their bad behavior, unquote. Yeah, I wonder what specific bad behavior they were engaging in, especially to piss off Gene Simmons. During recording, bassist Sixx was involved in a serious car crash after drunkenly stealing a friend's Porsche in LA. At around the same time, actress and friend Demi Moore told Sixx he needed Alcoholics Anonymous, though Sixx dismissed her concerns. Sixx badly injured his shoulder in the crash and was prescribed Percocet, a combination of acetaminophen and the powerful opioid oxycodone, which is commonly prescribed to treat severe short-term pain. Sixx's use of drugs transitioned directly to a crippling addiction to heroin, which would cost him $3,500 a day and almost claim his life later in the decade. Another car crash in the following year would nearly end Motley Crue. The band had just wrapped up several months of touring in support of Shout at the Devil when vocalist Vince Neil threw a massive party at his Redondo Beach home, attended by the band Hanoi Rocks. After days of drinking and drugs, Neil boarded his neighbor's 1972 Ford Pantera, and he and Hanoi Rocks drummer Razzle made a trip to a nearby liquor store to buy more beer. Though they made it to the liquor store without incident, on the return trip, the car slipped on a wet spot on the road. Neil lost control of the sports car and veered into oncoming traffic at 65 miles per hour, colliding with another vehicle heading in the opposite direction. Man. The impact left the driver of the other car in a month-long coma, and her passenger was also seriously injured. Though Neil escaped without injury, his passenger wasn't so fortunate. Razzle was pronounced dead at the scene at the age of 24. It's funny, a lot of accidents are like that. The driver is the one causing all of the craziness, but they get away unharmed, where it's their passengers or somebody else is are the victims. It's weird like that, man. I've heard so many accidents go that way. Neil was subsequently charged with drunk driving and vehicular manslaughter, and the band's future was very much in doubt as Neil faced possible prison time. In the end, Neil was sentenced to 200 hours of community service, paid $2.6 million in restitution to Razzle's family, and served only 30 days in jail. Damn, brother, you got off lucky as hell. The song Bastard was targeted by Tipper Gore and the PMRC, who were behind the move to have warning labels placed on albums with lyrics or other content they found disturbing. According to guitarist Mick Mars, the song wasn't a call to violence, but rather was about a certain person that we used to work with that we felt we were stabbed in the back by. Unquote. Knock 'Em Dead Kid was inspired by a violent encounter between Six and a group of Hell's Angels. Six somehow or another wound up in a fight with a group of bikers, even hitting one member in the face with a chain he had been wearing as a belt. The Hells Angels turned out to be undercover cops, and the bassist was subsequently badly beaten and jailed, resulting in a black eye and broken cheekbone. After being released from jail, he was inspired to write a song about the ordeal. The album also features a cover of the Beatles' 1968 song Helter Skelter, a song that allegedly inspired mass murderer Charles Manson. Six was not a Beatles fan, but he lists Helter Skelter and the White Album among his favorites of all time. It's interesting. A little contradiction there. Reception. Yo, damn, critics got a lot to say here, holy. Alright. In a contemporary review for the Village Voice, Robert Christgau panned Shout at the Devil and felt the band's commercial appeal lay in false braggadocio on an album that is poor even by heavy metal standards, unquote. Rolling Stone's J.D. Considine found their style of rock formulaic, innocuous, and unoriginal. Quote, the whole point of bands like Motley Crue is to provide cheap thrills to jaded teens, and that's where the album ultimately disappoints. Maybe that's their focus all along. Maybe they decided, hey, our demographic is going to be jaded teens. That's going to be our crowd, and we're basically just going to focus on them. Maybe that was their point. Maybe that was their focus the whole time. You never know. In the Rolling Stone Album Guide 2004, he dismissed the music as, quote, a distressingly mild-mannered distillation of Kiss and Aerosmith cliches, unquote. See, as I'm reading this stuff, you gotta keep it balanced because, I'm looking at their success. I'm looking at how much they appeal to so many people. And, you have your own opinion and you're shooting it down. But, okay, so in 2017, the same magazine would later go on to rank the album at 44th in the list of the 100 greatest metal albums of all time. See? There you go. So all of that chopping them down only to ultimately rank them high. It's weird how that is, man. But I think that the Rolling Stone guy who's shooting them down, he was probably not a part of the rankings, I'm guessing. Contradicting Rolling Stone. AllMusic's Barry Weber was more positive in a retrospective review, citing Shout as their best album, which displays Motley Crue's sleazy and notorious, yet quite entertaining, metal at its best. It's a good way to describe it. Canadian journalist Martin Popoff considered Shout at the Devil inferior to Motley's debut album, but found its music extremely addictive, if unoriginal, and called it punk, rocking lobotomy metal. Adrian Begrand of Pop Matters called the album a timeless LA metal classic, which people often forget how dark, how sleazy, how menacing really is. In his opinion, it contains the band's best singles and remains to this day Motley Crue's finest hour. Without this album, a lot of the great hair metal bands wouldn't have come about, observed Satchel of Steel Panther. Theater of Pain was more of their glam look, but Shout at the Devil was such a great record. It was fucking sick. They set the bar. People looked at that and said, fuck, we gotta dress up cool, man. Unquote. Shout at the Devil peaked at number 17 on the Billboard 200. The singles Looks to Kill and Too Young to Fall in Love peaked at number 54 and number 90 respectively on the Billboard Hot 100 in '84, while Shout at the Devil peaked at number 30 on the mainstream rock chart. The album was awarded 4 times platinum, reaching the $4 million mark in shipments. You see what I'm talking about? getting slammed left, right, above and behind. But all the same, you can't dispute the numbers and the success. They are being applauded by somebody out there, When a band like us put out Shout at the Devil, Six observed in 2000, and the label does zero marketing, zero publicity, and takes zero trade adverts, and you sell 5 million records, then everybody starts patting themselves on the back. But it's Motley Crue that did that, not Elektra Records, unquote. There you go, putting it in perspective. So, as much as there are people out there that hate them, or I don't know if hate's that strong of a word, but there are people out there that really like them. And I remember back in the day coming up and listening to some of their stuff and having a girlfriend who was into them at the time, I saw the appeal. And I noticed that just as many women like them as the men did. And so they definitely have their crowd, they have their appeal. And I believe that behind Motley Crue was a really good creative mind, a really good strategy, so to speak. I was saying again in side one that I remember one of them saying that, to achieve a certain degree of success or desired success, you want to follow the path laid out by someone who's got that success and then kind of follow in their footsteps. And I believe that they were following in the footsteps of Kiss, where it comes to the entertainment factor and where it comes to the novelty factor and that sort of thing. And but at the heart of it all, in the end, it's still about musicianship. It's still about appeal. Their signature sound is definitely appealing. Their musicianship is on point. And in the end, that's all you've got. Once everything else is stripped away, strip all of that away, and these guys are still left standing. They're still left standing with an album that went 4 times platinum, regardless of the bad press or Rolling Stone not liking them or whatever the case is. You can't argue with the numbers and you can't argue with the success. So I think that they've accomplished their goal in the sense of probably not knowing ahead of time that it's not going to appeal to everyone. And of course, they're going to be navigating into waters that are testy, but they knew that their plan would yield a certain measure of success. So there's a great creative mind behind Motley Crue, for sure. And I think that they've accomplished what they've looked at accomplishing. I mentioned Kiss before, and it's funny that they're mentioning in here that their bad behavior got them kicked off of the Kiss tour. So they really got up to a very, very high level in regards to what they wanted to accomplish. If they were mimicking the success of Kiss, they definitely got to the point of where they said, yeah, let's get to this point, we'll reach a certain level of success. I think they surpassed that, because in the end, like I said, take everything else away from them and they still got a really great appealing signature sound, and they're cranking out some really, really cool songs. And these songs have a place, they have certain appeal. And I'm still visualizing my girlfriend at her parties or whatnot. But yeah, this album I think is a very solid album, and I like it. I like every single track on it. And it's funny, in the breakdown of the songs, funny enough, the 2 songs that I think that I like the most on the album are not even mentioned, the last 2 songs. But hey, it's all good, man. So, I once also remembered about Motley Crue. I think I was watching their biography. I think it was actually biography. And one thing that always stood out about them to me, I liked them right away. I liked them because now, all I remember hearing was their 2 big hits and all that, and I got an idea for their sound, and I had an impression from my girlfriend about them, but that's all I really got about Motley Crue at the time. But when I watched their biography, I was very impressed by them, personally, the gentlemen. I was impressed by all 4 of them in how well-spoken they are. They are very, very well-spoken. They put they're sharp. They got a lot going on upstairs. And they're not just a bunch of foolish headbangers. No, these are very smart men. And I really liked how they were speaking, how they were answering, how they were addressing things, and how they were representing themselves. And that stuck to me the most. You know, you're flipping channels and you see this for a minute and you only intend to kind of watch it for a couple of seconds. I ended up watching the whole thing. And I remember that. That was a long, long time ago. But I am impressed by how well spoken they are. That's my point. And they're very, very smart men. And I think that they were really smart in how they shaped their image and the time that they came up in, and they were very, very smart in who they were targeting as being their demographic, you know. So put it all together, and yeah, man, these guys, I can see and understand why they're so successful and why so many people like them. So there you go. That is my reaction and my review to Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil. And David, thank you again for the recommendation and providing the links. As well, thank you for not giving me hard-ass time about, no, man, no, this is classic rock, it belongs here, it belongs here. Lately, well, you know, pretty much not lately, but a lot of the times I always get into a skirmish with someone, you know, oh, it belongs here, it belongs here. And so sometimes, you know, people get rude about it. You know, I can understand, people love their music and it's a very personal thing, but I just didn't want to go through the hassle of having to kind of, you know, go through all of this with people going back and forth at each other. Sometimes it gets really nasty. So having this platform takes all of that away. You know what I mean? This platform, you can basically put everything on this platform and nothing will be disputed. So like I said, with the classic rock platform, you know, it's just filled with some people who have their idea of what classic rock is, and it can become a real pissing match, and I didn't want that. But David, thank you very much. I'm glad we have this platform, and I'm glad that you are very open to it, and thank you very much for not giving me a hard time. All right, so folks, that is my reaction and review, man. So thank you very much. Hope you liked this. It was a little bit long. I didn't expect that there'd be so many bits of reading here, especially in the reception here. The critics definitely had a lot to say down here, man. What's coming up? I got some disco stuff coming up. I know REM is loaded in the chute. I got some opera, some punk rock. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff coming up, man, and a couple of complimentary quads. So always looking forward to what we're going to be doing on this platform. I know I got some more Tool coming up. The whole Tool thing has just been crazy in the last little while, so I don't expect that that's going to end anytime soon. And I think it's a quad, another Tool quad. So I'm just going to say, in regards to Tool, take a look at what I have reacted to before you send me the recommendation for the same songs, because what that'll do is it's going to delay your reaction. Like, for example, I don't want to have to come back at you and say, yeah, you know, I've already reacted to this, you know, do you want to switch it out, or do you want to leave it out, or whatever the case is. And that in itself can take up days, if not weeks, before, you know, the person gets back to you and then I do the reaction and all that. So take a look at what I've done before you send me a recommendation for the same song, you know. And if I actually do the same song again, then people get pissy with me. Oh, what the hell, you know. So, you know, just take a look and see what I've done in regards to where Tool is concerned, because I'm starting to see a pattern now where I'm going to get a lot of Tool recommendations. So I want to nip that in the bud right away. Anyway, that's my reaction, and that's my review and my updates and all of that sort of thing. So we're up to date. So thanks for joining me, man. Take care, and I'll catch you in another reaction. Peace.